Hey everybody, Ken Coscia here, author of the Silva Mastery System, as well as the lead instructor and international training director for the Silva Method. Welcome. Glad you're here, because today, in this video lesson, I want to share with you some tips, 4 steps. That's at the very core, the very foundation of what you and I need to observe, what we need to be mindful of in order to effectively take command, to take control, to take charge of our lives, and get what we want. So whether you're into the law of attraction, and your manifestation skills, you want to improve them, enhance them, this is definitely something you want to pay attention to. Or perhaps you're a Silva Method practitioner, and you've got all these skills and tools and techniques, and you'd like to more effectively integrate them into your life. Or for that matter, you may be into High Performance Academy or any modality that's basically about self-improvement, enhancing the quality of our lives by providing for skills and tools. So these 4 steps basically are universal truths, unifying principles, like I said, that are at the core, the foundation of what makes all of the modalities work. So listen close. Now, for those of you who've been following my work, thank you. I appreciate that you know me through the Silva Method, and you most especially know me through the core foundation program of Silva Life and Intuition System, which we offer as the 4-day immersion experience. If you've been through that, hey, welcome aboard. Good to hear. A little shout out to you. If you haven't, you want to look at that, because we spend 4 days building on this very principle. And like I said, these 4 steps are at the core of what makes all the life skills, all of the modalities, all of the manifestation skills, all of the things to co-create work. Now, I say this to you because I've been doing this for a long time. And if you know my work, you know it started for me way back in 1971. Oh my God, nearly 5 decades, 46 years. And I can still remember that as a student struggling at university, the harder I tried, the more I studied, the more I sought help, the worse it got. No joke. Have you ever been through that? And one of the things that applies to what we're going to do now is I was worrying, I was stressed, I was trying too hard. I suffered from headaches, anger issues. I was aimless and kind of hopeless, just having a grand old time, partying and no direction. A dear friend turned me on to the Silva Method, and I went through this in Memorial Day weekend, 1971, here in the U.S., in Brooklyn, New York, and I haven't looked back since. And I've become an avid student, nearly 5 decades, avid researcher, and avid teacher. I attend seminars, trainings all the time. And I want to tell you, the more I study, the more I realize these 4 steps I'm about to share with you fit perfectly because they set up the framework. It's actually a framework, a structure that everything else is under. And when you observe it, you'll get those results. Even now, as the senior instructor, I've studied with the best of the best. I've been blessed to be with the best of the best and mentored by the best of the best in our industry and in the Silva organization. And now they say, I've become the best of the best, the senior guy. Well, putting all that aside, it still holds true. And even if you're building your business, for example, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in sales, and you'd like to enhance your performance, this is definitely part of your skill set, a framework that you want to add. If you want to connect more deeply as a coach with your clients, or perhaps you're a therapist, this again is a framework that you want to understand and master. If you want to get along better with your coworkers, your family, have a richer experience with your spouse, your significant other, again, it all applies because it's a unifying, or shall I say, universal principle. So let's take a look at these 4 steps. And actually, truth be told, it's 3 steps leading to the 4th step, which are the results. So let me ask you right now, please think along with me. Let's let this be instructional, a how-to, because that's really my expertise. That's really my forte. That's really how I can best help you. how to do it. I'm not interested in so much philosophy. I'm not interested so much in intellectual. Yeah, I read a lot. I attend seminars, and I enjoy a good philosophical discussion. However, when push comes to shove, what counts is not what we know, but what we do with what we know, how effectively we integrate it, how effectively we put it to use, right? You know that. And that's what these steps are. So, first of all, let's think of number 4, the results. What results do you want to get? What's important to you? So if you could improve the quality of any aspect of your life, what would you like to improve? Be clear about your intention. If you're an athlete and you want to improve your performance, or you're an artist, you're a singer, a musician, a dancer, a painter, and you want to improve that aspect of your performance. Or perhaps you're interested in enriching your relationships. You're a coach and you want to connect more deeply. Again, be clear about your intention. What is it that you want to improve? Building your business? It doesn't matter. Now, as you reflect on those steps, and if you have pencil and paper handy and it's convenient, write it down. Make a contract, make a commitment to yourself. This is important. This is your life. And by the way, I want to honor you for being here watching this video, because your time is precious. You've got so much on your plate. And I know there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of challenge, and we're all busy being busy and just, navigating life. And I salute you, I commend you, and I really appreciate you allowing me this opportunity. And listen closely, follow what I'm going to say, and you will most definitely see results. So the first step of 3 steps begins with the catalyst, the spark, the trigger, the trigger mechanism that sparks it, that fuels it, that gets us going. You guessed, your thoughts. Your thoughts are the spark, the trigger. To what? Feelings. So as we think, whatever we give attention to, we give energy to. So as thoughts come into our mind, whether they be from memories, someone reminds of something, whatever it might be, it triggers the release of chemicals throughout the body, hormones, neuropeptides, we call them, science calls them, the chemical messengers of the body. So thoughts trigger feelings, emotions. And then as the brain releases all those neurochemicals, what happens? All of a sudden, we start to get into a state, physiologically and psychologically. And that state could be one of, woe is me, life sucks, or maybe despair, why bother? Sometimes we feel helpless and hopeless when, I know what it's like. Hey, I want you to know there's no quick fix. And even though I've invested so much time and energy, and even though, I've succeeded in creating a wonderful life for myself and my family, I'm so fortunate, it's not always easy. And sometimes it takes a lot of extra effort and work just to sustain what we've created. I know you know that. I just want to say, come on, give yourself a break and recognize. So just the fact you're taking the time here says a lot, doesn't it? So those thoughts trigger those feelings, those memories. Or maybe it triggers hope, optimism, and I can do it kind of attitude, a feeling of confidence, a feeling of certainty. And those emotions and the chemistry changes in the brain and throughout the body take over. And they affect our whole state of being, psychologically and physically. And they affect, third, our physiology. They affect how we feel, yes, how we carry ourselves, how we stand, the tone of our voice, our eyes, face. Those of you who have been trained in this will observe subtle changes in the eyes, subtle changes around the lips, all of which can leave us with a feeling of confidence. This person knows what he or she wants or is talking about, or just the opposite. So whatever we give attention to, whatever we focus on, we give energy to. And whatever we give energy to will amplify, and it affects our state. If you're an athlete, I remember when I was in high school, I was a inter-track, long-distance runner. I was even interviewed for scholarships. I really was performing, but I didn't make it because I psyched out. And if you've been in any kind of athletic competition, And if you look at your competition, right? And you, oh my God, could I ever stay with them? It's called psyching out. It changes your whole physiology, and your muscles will tighten up, and then you're going to hit that wall sooner. You're going to run out of energy. Even as a singer, as an artist in business and sales, correct? The quality of our performance is affected by our physiology, our physiological state, and our mental state, and that will affect your performance. So let's go back, and let me give you some examples and build this out. So what I'm saying, guys, is the first thing, most important, is you got to cultivate creative thoughts, optimistic, possibility thinking, dream a bit, think big. I'm not talking airy-fairy, no, I'm talking, what are some of your goals, some of your aspirations? What would be your ideal self? Here's a takeaway exercise, and it's very powerful. Just sit down, close your eyes, a few deep breaths, and think of your ideal self. You see, the idea is that we are defined by a vision of our future, an optimistic, hopeful vision of possibilities, our best self, and not to be defined by memories of the past, especially not to be defined by memories of what hasn't worked in the past, the stuff. And that is a skill. And admittedly, it's no easy task, but it can be done if you have the right training, whether it be through coaching, through mentoring, through attending seminars, through reading books, through going through therapy, whatever it is. When you get the right training, you take the time, it can be when you know what you're doing. So the first thing is to start cultivating an I can do it attitude. To even, for example, I started 46 years ago, right? And I'm old school. And I find the game has changed in this industry. And I've had to embrace marketing. I'm part of an organization that started it all, the Silva Method. There was nothing hardly at all, commercially speaking. And everybody was seeking us out. We had all sorts of free publicity. Now today, the game has changed, and that's not true anymore. And I admit, I think I have, as well as some of my colleagues, rested on our laurels and not kept up with the times. So now I find myself doing that, investing heavily in my time and effort and training to learn how I can reach you, people like you, just like you, more effectively, more efficiently. And it's not an easy task. And one of the things that's helped me is the attitude, somehow, some way, I can figure this out. And when you have that, it frees you up. It allows you to maybe make some mistakes. And then you start rolling, you get that momentum. And it works. And people just like you all over the world have found that. So one way you can cultivate hopeful, optimistic thoughts is think back to what has worked. It's a resource state. Look at the evidence in your life. I've been there, done that, I've been through that challenge, and I came out of it better than ever before. Note them, journal them, because that's evidence to support your conviction. And now I'm in a new situation, learning something new, maybe another challenge, similar or otherwise. Get through it. So you've got to interrupt the pattern of worry. You've got to interrupt the monkey mind that drives us crazy. Worrying does nothing. It's just like a rocking chair. Gives us something to do, but it doesn't get us anywhere, right? I like that. It's me, my shadow. Here. So cultivate those creative thoughts. Another pattern interrupter is if you catch yourself worrying or thinking negative. Oh, could I ever do that? Oh my God, it's too much. Stop. Tell yourself, this is not the person I want to be. So while you're dreaming of your best self, while you're imagining possibilities, also reflect on who or what you want to release. What aspects of your personality? What is it about you that you want to let go of that no longer serves your highest good? Got it? Very important. That's the key step. If you remember Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, if you can get a hold of his original thesis, which was 20 years in the making, his research on the law of success. And he came up with a very long quote that just about everybody uses. in abbreviated fashion. Whatever you can conceive of and believe in, you can achieve. And may I add, with due respect to the brilliance of Napoleon Hill, yes, whatever you can conceive of and believe in, you can achieve, as long as you know what it is you want and you're willing to pay the price. So that first step is conceive. Whatever you can conceive of, whatever you can imagine, whatever you can consider as a possibility, in other words, believe, and then believe in yourself that somehow, some way, you can learn to do it, or find someone who can help you do it, or hire someone to do it, whatever, outsource it, whatever it might be, you can achieve. So the second step is that thought will what? Trigger the emotions, the feelings. And here's the danger. Somebody in my life who I care very deeply about, and I'm not going to use names, and I'm not going to even use it specific, had a great idea of a service on the internet. And he commiserated with somebody else who had a similar idea, and the person said they weren't interested. They're going to just move away and not work on it. So he said, okay, then I'll do it. And he started creating a website, getting the ideas going, putting it. It's cool. I've seen it. Excellent. And then lo and behold, the other person came into the picture and ramped up his game and did the opposite of what he said he was going to do. Maybe because he saw what a great idea it was and he wanted to get a piece of the action, but didn't want to collaborate. So now this person has a choice to worry about the competition, to focus on them, or to what? And this is what the person's doing, to make themselves irresistible offers, yes, to add so much value that you'd want to take my service and only mine. Not in a competitive way, but just to give the best. So those emotions, those feelings, the thoughts trigger that. We got to be careful, because when we have that kind of certainty and that kind of confidence, again, it affects our whole state, our physical state, our mental state, which will affect the quality of our performance. Again, I know you know this, but just because you know it doesn't mean you're actually doing it. I heard someone say, I think it was Brendan Bouchard, in fact, his famous quote, he said, yes, it's common sense, but just because it's common sense doesn't mean it's common practice. Boy, that's so true. In my experience, I have worked with hundreds of thousands of people. I've been all over the world, and millions of people have used the Silva method, people just like you, and they've succeeded. And I can tell you, as somebody who works on an advanced level and trains instructors and is responsible, I'm the director of all the directors in our global organization, maintaining quality. These 4 steps, well, the 3 leading to the 4th step, are so essential, this framework. And when it's not observed, when we're not mindful, when we're not cultivating those creative possibility thoughts, I don't care what modality you use, what tools, what technique, you're not going to get the results. So let's recap. Very simple, the 3 steps leading to the fourth being the results. What results do you want? And number 1, start cultivating creative imagination, possibilities, hopeful thoughts, optimism. Do whatever you can to fuel that sense of hope and optimism. Read, talk to a good friend, ask for feedback, take training, get coaching. I hope you'll do the Silva method. It's an incredible program if you haven't done it yet. And if you've done it, come back and review. We're constantly updating it. It really is. It's a powerful program. Some of the biggest leaders, thought leaders out there have gotten their start in this program. It's a foundation program. It's a how to do it program. It's a very structured step-by-step program. And I hope you'll come one day and let me honor me with your presence. So cultivate those thoughts however it takes, whatever you do. That will release emotions, feelings, and cause your brain to release neuropeptides, which will change your physical and mental state, which will affect the quality of your behaviors, your actions, and even affect whether you even take any action and do something, which of course produces what? The results. So I hope you've enjoyed this and find it of value. Please, guys, do me a couple of solid favors. I'd appreciate it. I'd love some feedback from you. Comment wherever this appears, and you see if there's a comment section below. Please, I'd like to hear from you. If you find it of value, please like it and share it with people who you know who could benefit from this, so I can reach out to other people who perhaps would resonate with my message and how I could facilitate transformation for them. And please remember, you are far more than you appear to be. In fact, you are better. Thank you.